Well, we're here on the lawn, of course, a beautiful backdrop of my favorite class of cars, the Duesenbergs. I'm here with Mr. Duesenberg, Randy Ema, the premier Duesenberg restorer in the United States. And this car has a little bit of history with me, not actually with me, but tell the story.
This car was, Jay has a Duesenberg Murphy convertible coupe. This car was, his car was traded in, and the man bought this in place of it. So this was the next design, the latest in design in Duesenberg.
Right. I kind of like the earlier car. I like my disappearing top car better, but this is okay.
This disappears tops, and this cranks down, so you wouldn't have to work so hard to put the top down, Jay.
All right, that's okay. That's worth trading.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. And of course, most people don't realize all Duesenbergs were built in '29, weren't they?
Right.
And it took 10 years to sell them. There really is no 1936 Duesenberg. It's just a car they've updated.
Right. This chassis, actually, the body was built in '34. Right. It was sold in '35. Right. In Chicago.
And in those days, they weren't adverse to taking a car in trade, taking the body off and selling it as a brand new car. Yeah.
That never happened.
Yeah, that never happened. Yeah. But of course, it's still, I think, the greatest American car ever built.
Nothing to compare it to.
Yeah. It's just how many Duesenbergs do we have here today?
I think there's 6.
6, okay.
Yeah. 3 of the original. They built 3 of these Walker LeGrand convertible coupes. All 3 are here.
Right. Oh, okay. Very good. Well, get a look at some of these Duesenbergs. They're really, really beautiful. Here, we'll show you. Here's one of the most fascinating cars here at Pebble. This is Mr. Beretta. You might know him from Beretta, the gun fame. The company's, what, 500 years old?
Yes, sir.
And like all Italian men, he has a beautiful woman by his side. Yeah, yes. Very much.
Sure.
It's part of being Italian. You have to be Italian. You have to be a beautiful woman.
You are Italian origin.
I am Italian, yes. Napoletano.
Napoletano. Very good.
Now tell me about this car. This is obviously a Porsche Spyder. 54, 55?
55.
55. But this is the part that everyone is fascinated about.
Exactly. This is the special because it's a normal 550 Porsche,
right?
The car. But the interesting thing is the fly.
Yeah.
It was made by an engineer, a very young engineer, in 56.
Right.
He thought that it was important because it raised
for downforce.
Exactly.
But this is the very first car to use a wing in competition, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
First one.
First
one.
Yeah.
In the story of the car, this is the first fly that we have.
Yeah.
And after now, all the sport car and racing car have a different fly, different story. But this one is a very original for this reason. But and when he do this, is race and is win many of big competition, Nürburgring and all the story. For this, it was very effective.
Yeah, and it was so effective, the other racers tried to get it banned, correct?
Exactly, exactly.
And you can move a lever to...
Exactly, you can
just,
move like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing, because we always think of Chaparral or some of those as being the first.
Exactly, bravo.
Yeah, but this is...
After Chaparral and many other...
How long have you had this car?
10 years.
10 years, okay. Very nice. Well, it's a beautiful car. And
yeah, now it was completely refitted and it's a very good car. We make many races with this car.
And good in the rain, too. Keep
Oh, yes.
keep the rain off your head, too.
You're right. Also for the sun, you know.
Yeah. But it must have been funny when it came out in 55 and people went, you ruined a beautiful car. You put, what is that, you know? But it was so effective, the other racers tried to put an end to it.
But I think that this engineer, it was really very clever. Also because after that, his work for Porsche, for Ferrari, you know, because it was very considered.
Was it an Italian engineer?
No, Deutsch. No,
but he probably got the idea from an Italian, huh?
We don't know. We don't know.
Well, it's a beautiful car, and thank you so much for bringing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a real piece of history. I think, look at all the crowd that's around this car. It's probably one of the most fascinating cars, because every time you come here, I think I know so much, and then I go, I never heard of this car. So thank you so much for bringing it, sir.
Thank you.
Honored
Thank you
meet
to visit us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, if you follow my website, you know I'm restoring my Cunningham C3. I didn't have it finished in time for Pebble this year, and the Cunningham is one of the marks, but a lot of owners did. This is Jim Taylor. Jim, how you doing? From upstate New York?
Good, Jay.
This is his car. He's owned it for what, 15 years, something like
Since
that?
2003.
2003, okay. Tell us about your car, 54?
5442.
Yeah,
But it was
okay.
numbered 5213 before that. I went back to the factory.
Yeah.
And they renumbered it for some reason.
Okay. But I mean, it's a 1954.
Oh, no, it's 53.
Oh, 53.
53,
Okay.
yeah.
You said you got 54 written on there.
Oh, that's wrong. I believe it.
Well, these were cars built by Briggs Cunningham. He built how many cars?
I believe 15 of these and
Right.
5 of the convertibles.
Yeah, and they all exist,
As far as I know.
which is really the cool thing. And they're all in some state of restoration. Chrysler 331 Hemi. Can we open the hood and show
Sure,
what yours has?
sure.
Mine has the 2 4-barrels. And of course, you can see Cunningham made his own manifolds. Look at that. Cunningham, West Palm Beach, Florida. It's just so funny to see.
Yeah,
You know, not Detroit, Michigan.
right.
You know, West Palm Beach, Florida. And of course, still one of the prettiest valve covers ever made, the Chrysler Firepower.
Yeah,
6 volt, of course.
yeah,
And the weight distribution is a little heavy in the front with these, isn't it?
absolutely.
What were these, about $15,000 new?
I think in that neighborhood,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We actually showed an Allard over at Quail the other day, and it's got the same power plant in it.
Yeah.
Same year, same power plant.
Wow, okay. Very nice. And you got the right tires, and I mean, this is just like it's 1953 again, isn't it?
Yeah.
2-speed automatic transmission?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's really the only downfall of these cars. It just goes.
Yep. Yeah, automatic transmission with a clutch.
Yeah, we have the clutch for first gear, right?
Yeah.
And then you just
Right.
so. I'm going to switch to a Tremec 5-speed in mine.
That's what I'm doing too. As soon as I show it a
As soon
few
as
times.
this show is over, it's getting a Tremec 5-speed. Well, beautiful car.
Yeah.
And these always have just a classic dashboard. One of the most beautiful dashboards. Take a look. This is what it looks like when it's finished. And of course, people might recognize the radio. I believe that's a Ford radio from the
I think it is.
from the 50s. Yeah.
I think it is.
6-volt AM radio.
Yep.
AM radio as God intended.
Of course, you can't hear it with the engine running.
No, but that's a minor point. How long ago did you do the restoration on this car?
Well, we found it in a barn cellar in Virgins, Vermont in 2003. We've had it through 4 restorers,
Wow.
and it just got done.
Well, it looks great. Well, Jim, thanks for taking the time to show it to us.
Thanks for stopping by, Jay.
Thanks. Well, it's kind of exciting. It's the first time the Shelby GT350 Mustang has been on the lawn here at Pebble Beach. It's the 50th anniversary of the Mustang.
Yes, it is.
I was one of those kids on April 17th with my nose against the glass, waiting for my hot dog and my soda and my free donut, and to go in and see the Mustang at the dealership. So it was like a huge deal. And you own the very first R model, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
This is John Otzbach, am I saying that correctly?
Yes, I'm John
Okay.
Otzbach.
How long have you had the car?
I bought it 5-6 years ago.
Oh, okay, okay. Did you have Shelby before that? Is this your first one?
I have about a dozen of them.
About a dozen of them. Oh,
Something like that,
I mean,
yeah.
how far back do you go in the club?
You know, I wanted one since I was about this big, but it
Okay.
took me a long time before I could afford one.
Okay, very cool.
So-
But you know, I remember I passed on one for $600 back in like 72, 73, because I didn't have the 600. I'll give you $450. Nah. Guy wants crazy money, $600. That's what they, but they weren't worth anything then. It's fascinating to watch something that was really cool, then go down to zero, and then come back up again. How many cars has the club got here?
I think there's 8 on the lawn today.
Okay, all right. Now tell us about, now for people don't know, there was the 350, which was the road car, which is really a racing car. They built, what, 562 of those?
Yeah,
And then they built 37 R models?
including in the 562, yes.
Oh, okay. And the R model was the out-and-out track version, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay, because even the road car had no mufflers,
Yeah.
had the side pipes. Tell us what's more extreme about your R model here.
The motor's certainly a lot hotter.
Right. Now the normal horsepower was 306, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what is this one rated
It's
at?
about 370.
370, okay.
Yeah.
Different intake, different carburetor.
Yeah.
And of course working hood scoop.
Yeah.
Which I guess the original car had a working hood scoop, but not.
Didn't have a plenum on it though.
Yeah, didn't have a plenum on it.
Cleaner.
Yeah, right. But still 289 cubic inch, correct?
Yes.
Had an oil cooler, which
The R models had oil coolers, yes.
regular model did not have the oil cooler. Okay. What else?
Well, this being the prototype car, it actually has quite a number of features that were different than all the regular R models even. In fact, the oil cooler on this car is different than the others. The cooler lines are different than regular ones.
Right.
Had a Cobra alternator brackets. In fact, most of this motor is Cobra motor versus Mustang motor.
Right.
They didn't have a Mustang race engine when they built this car.
Did they have bigger sump than the regular
Yes.
GT350?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is a hand-fabricated sump that they just made from scratch for this car.
So an extra quart of oil or
Yeah.
something like that? Okay, very nice. Of course, the fiberglass hood. Everything else is pretty...
Yeah.
And the mags?
It has magnesium wheels.
Okay, now again, the stock car did not have the magnesium wheels.
Correct. They came with steel wheels or
Yeah.
Traeger upgrades, but these
Yeah.
had magnesium racing wheels.
I mean, it's so nice to see it back to its original form, because these were race cars. They just got hot rodded and cut up and put a 302 in or whatever else they could do. Was this pretty original when you got it, or did you have to
No.
go back?
We had to spend a lot of time and energy on this car.
Yeah.
This car was raced by Shelby as their team car for the first half of the '65 season, and they used it as their engineering and developmental car.
Right.
And that's where they tested all the different components on before they installed them on the regular R models, or it became production R models.
And the fun thing is, there's still a lot of guys alive that worked on this car, that worked at the factory.
Yes.
I mean, they're in their 70s, 80s, 90s now.
Yes.
But that's really the cool part.
You know it is, and that's actually been my favorite part of this whole project.
Yeah.
You know, this car had been in Mexico for 20 years.
Oh, is that
And
right?
It was in gray primer and rust when it came out of Mexico.
Yeah.
And we took it from that to what you're seeing here.
Now, when it was in Mexico, did they know what it was? Was
Yes.
it owned by an enthusiast?
It was purchased by a gentleman who took it racing. He bought it in 1969, took it to Mexico to race.
Okay, so that was just an old...
It was just an old, worn-out race car.
Okay, yeah.
And it was used up and done, and he painted it in gray primer and put it in a lean-to in the desert and left it there.
Wow.
So,
Well, let's show some of the difference on the interior between this and the normal car. Obviously, the bucket seats are way different.
they are.
Plastic doors, plastic windows rather.
Yeah, which were unique to this particular car. It's the only car that got them.
And that is a true racing seat, isn't it?
It is. And this race seat was unique to this car also. The regular R models had a slightly different version.
Right, aluminum case, 4-speed, the whole deal.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
You know, when I got mine, I just swapped it for 5-speed. I didn't even realize the case was, it was 30 years ago, and I was like, yeah, you can have that old transmission. That transmission's like 25 grand.
It's probably more fun with an extra gear, though.
Well, it is more fun, and that's what that's why I got it. And I always thought it was the sexiest shifter with that lockout. I always loved the lockout. Yeah, and of course the wood grained, the simulated wood grain.
This one
wheel.
actually is a wood grain.
Oh, did it have a wood grain wheel?
Yep.
The R's had a wood.
The R's had a wood grain
real
wheel.
wood
Yes.
wheel, okay.
The other ones didn't, but this one did.
And as you can see, there's no sound deadening material, no nothing.
Nothing.
And I still have my original spare, which I'm really quite proud of.
Well, that's fantastic.
Wasn't it a blue?
Blue dot.
Blue dot, right?
The street cars had blue dots. The race
Right.
cars had sports car special instead.
And as you can see, these panels are all. The windows don't come down.
No,
Obviously.
they don't move at all.
Wow. I'm
It was-
surprised that the race car would have it on the driver's side as well. A window that doesn't come down. You'd think they'd want.
They figured that out.
Huh? Yeah.
This car had this configuration for about 2 months.
Right.
And then they changed it and took these windows out, and they developed windows that you could pull up and down after
Yeah,
that.
it must have been so hot.
It was. The first time this car raced, though, was February.
Yeah.
And it was freezing cold in Dallas when they first raced the car.
Right.
And we have pictures of the race, and everybody standing there with their parkas shivering.
Right.
And so when Miles was driving the car that first day, he probably was happy it was a little warmer in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've driven the car a bit, and it's really hot on a normal day inside that car with the windows closed.
Now, another thing I noticed is, you notice it's got the plastic window here, but it's also dropped to allow
Yes.
air to come through.
And it's also a unique window that only this car got.
Now, could this be a street car if you wanted?
And it can be, yes.
You
It
could
could be a
put it
little
on-
loud.
Yeah, but well, is it any louder than a standard?
Yes.
Well,
a lot louder.
because the engine's more powerful, but it's still no muffler of any kind.
No mufflers, but it's a lot louder.
But if you showed up at the DMV, they don't know if it's just a 65 Mustang to them, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, me too, if I'm going there.
Yeah. So this is car number 02.
Yes, 5R002.
Which begs the question, is there an 01 or was it red?
There is. 01 was actually the second R model that was built.
Okay.
The first Shelby Mustang that was built was serial number 3.
Right. Oh, okay.
They mixed up the VIN numbers between number 1 and number 3.
Okay.
So the first car was a street car, the second car was this race car.
Well, it's a great piece of history. And it's like my history because I was a kid when this car was born, and I'm an old guy, and the car's an old guy, but it looks a lot better than I do.
Looks a lot better than I do too.
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't
really
take much.
Really fantastic. Hey, thanks for showing it to us.
Thank you very much for your interest.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Once again, we're at McLaren. We're talking with Mike Fluitt, CEO of McLaren. This is one of my favorite car companies because we watch so many car companies go out of business, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, whatever it might be, to see new car companies come in and be successful. And you guys have gone from 0 to successful in 4 years, which is pretty amazing. I mean,
4 years. June 2011, we sold our first car.
Yeah.
So just over 4 years.
And 3 of them to me, so that's pretty good. Yeah.
But it helps.
Now, every year you come out with a new model. That seems to be about every 18 months, whatever it might be. And this is the latest. Tell us what we have here.
Well, we committed to a new model, a new variant every single year. Getting new product in front of the customers is absolutely critical. 570S, we launched it in New York. This is, if you like, the most attainable.
This is the entry-level
This
model.
is our entry-level car. It's still an
Right.
expensive car by most people's standards, but it's the most attainable of the McLarens. So the US, this comes in at about $180,000.
Right.
The car is meant to be more usable. It's going into a different competitive class than the 650S or the 675 LT, so you've got easier access in and out of the car.
Right.
The car feels a little bit lighter. It's got better packaging in the car. It's all around more usable. People will use this car every day.
And we're looking at what, 570 horse?
570 PS, so that's about 562, 563
Right,
horsepower.
okay. And 3.8?
Yep, 3.8 twin turbo.
Okay, twin turbo.
It's a variation of the engine that we had in the 650S.
Right. Well, I think that's very smart to have a range of cars. Of course, the top of the range is the P1, which is the most incredible, of course. A lot of carbon fiber. What else is different on it?
Well, this is an MSO spec car.
Okay.
So the color is unique. It's a one-off color we've done for the show.
Right.
And some of the carbon is unique, particularly like the engine cover for MSO. What's different about the car is really... Can we open it?
Yeah, open it on.
But things like the way we've changed the whole design of the door opens further forward, the entry of the car easier. We've scalloped out the sill here to make entry and egress easier for the customer. A little bit more width, a little bit more length in the car. Now even down to things like pockets in the door, cup holders under the console.
Right.
So whilst this is still a 203 mile an hour sports car, still a twin turbo V8 mid-engine car, it is a more usable car, and those sort of things really make a difference to people. So I think we'll broaden the McLaren ownership a little bit with this car.
Very, very nice.
I mean,
has a P1 look from the rear.
It's definitely part of the same family as P1, clearly. I think the rear is probably one of the best views of the car.
Yeah.
But things like this doesn't have active aero. It is a slightly simpler car than the other cars you've seen. So you've got the aero built into the body, but it's all fixed aero.
And this will be available when?
First car's coming to the US in October.
Okay.
So it goes into production in September. It's available globally from that point, and then it's just shipping time. So October we should be getting cars to customers. And we aim to sell next year around about 2,000 of these cars globally. Okay. So maybe 500 or 600 in the US.
Yeah. Were you surprised by the success of the P1? I mean, it started rather slowly, and then once word spread, boom! It literally jumped overnight, didn't it?
It did. It was a very unusual. You don't know. I mean, you know, how many times have we been asked whether 375 was the right number?
Right.
And you don't know. Was the price the right price? So when, you know, we were just talking about the 2 cars sold at auction.
Yeah.
We haven't finished production yet.
Well,
and they're 50% up in price.
I know a number of journalists were calling the P1 the first car that will never go down in value, and that's quite an honor.
That's tremendous. That's a fabulous thing for us to have done for our customers. But yes, when we first announced the car, which was Paris, September 12th,
Right.
From there through to about Pebble Beach 13,
Yeah.
I think we took about 80 orders. It was a sort of slow. It was people, yes, I'm interested.
Right.
But a few things happened in the summertime of 2013. You drove the car.
Oh, I was very impressed.
Car went up the hill at Pebble at Goodwood.
Right.
We did a reveal in here, and then by the September we'd sold out. So it was as if people suddenly, maybe our communication improved.
I think there are so many phony supercars being built. There are so many people who want to be in the supercar business, and they use the Corvette engine and the Ferrari, the Porsche transaxle, and we're building the supercar. To people who are not real car people, it takes a while for them to figure out, okay, who's really real in this segment. I think that's what happened to the F1 the first time. The Vectra came out, and a bunch of cars came out, and here's one that cost twice as much as those, and most of those weren't very good. So I think they got hurt. Of course, there was a recession too. But it's nice to see that once people catch on to what McLaren is all about.
Well, I think that's a big part of it, Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't underestimate. We have only been selling cars for 4 years. There's a lot of people still finding out what we're about.
Right.
The 12C was a great car. I think people admired it technically when it came out. Some people look for a little more emotion. P1, I think.
See, I love my 12C.
I know you do.
Mine has the swipe. They changed that quickly. A little thing where you swipe your hand under the door and it opens. See, that will be the little flaw that makes the car collectible. It'll be the one that people want.
That's why I want the early car.
Yeah,
but I joined the company. I felt like I was fondling the car to get the.
But I like to fondle the car, so that's fine with me. But I love my 12C. I've had it. I got about 8,000 miles on it now, and it's. I use it in my everyday car. It's terrific. It's terrific.
Beautiful to drive.
Well, congratulations. What do you have over here?
We've got 650S Spyder.
Right.
That's really our main car at the moment, and it's just a stunningly car. Again, very, very usable.
Now that's the car just below the P1, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And for all intents and purposes, in real road use, it's almost as fast as a P1.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you have this strange thing, don't you? You go up a lot in price for what is maybe a small increment in some ways.
Right.
But P1 has got a lot more technology in it, as you know, with the hybrid system. So P1 for us, I think, communicated the brand amazingly to people, what we were capable of from a technical point of view.
Yeah. But if you get a chance to drive a McLaren, you really should. I mean, I find it a very emotional car. The sounding, the feel of it. I find the styling timeless. A lot of supercars look. How old are you to me? Hey, how old are you? I mean, even my 12C, which is the first generation, like the F1, it has a timeless look to it. It won't look old in a few. It'll look contemporary. I mean, if they go to the F1 today, it would still be a good-looking car. So, congratulations on 4 years of being successful. Most car companies are 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and it's really good. So.
It's important for us to be a sustainable business, for us to keep bringing out new products. We need to get the business side right as well as the technical side.
And you get one as a company car?
Not for free.
Not for free?
But I have bought one. I bought a 650 this year, and my wife and I use it a lot.
Even he's got to buy one.
Absolutely.
Hey. Even he's got to buy one. Mike, thank you so much.
Jay, pleasure to see you again.
Yeah, always a
Thank
pleasure.
you very much indeed. Thank you.
Once again on the concept lawn, I guess you'd call it, at Pebble Beach. It's all concept cars out here. This is Christopher Chapman. He's the head designer, chief designer for Hyundai. And I must say this, I have to stop doing Hyundai jokes now. For years we did them all, and I'm sorry, that's the job. But you guys have really stepped up the game and done some amazing work. And this is your latest concept car.
Yeah.
I mean, this is truly a full-size car in the American vein of full-size cars, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah. We were here in 2008 with our first Genesis, and we just have a new production car on the road, and we wanted to do a new expression of our prestigious premium line, the flagship car. So she's about 5'1" long. Yeah.
And I must say, that's a beautiful paint. I don't know what kind of paint that is.
Yeah.
It looks different. It's a silver that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost looks liquid. It's nicely done.
So
tell us more. We got 21-inch wheels.
22s.
A 22.
Actually, yeah. We got about a 3,000 or little over 3 meter wheelbase. Okay. So, yeah.
Now, when I first approached this car, I thought, oh, it's a 4-door. There's a door hidden here.
No,
but
sir.
This is for the front door, correct?
Yeah.
So how do I?
You did it.
Good day, Mr. Bond.
Yes, that's right.
Wow, that's
the virtual valet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that something that would make production?
Well, we'd like the idea of this sort of, when you go shopping these days, they sort of come around the corner and hand you the thing, right? And they say, have a nice day. So we want a little bit more personal sort of interaction with the valet.
Remember Chrysler from the 60s had the swivel seat?
Yes, sir.
You can't do that anymore. Seats have to be fixed. And I must say, it certainly makes egress. Easy. Wow.
Nice, huh?
Well, beautiful dashboard. Nice use of wood.
Really horizontal layout, wide. We
Right.
want an interior that really doesn't shout too much in terms of look at me, but rather facilitates kind of a look to the outside.
And I like
a
the
little
look
bit
of
more.
wood. And what is this, a panel here?
Yeah, that'd be the kind of a
Okay, that one.
mock-up area here. But we have this sort of bronze inlay into the wood, and we're kind of mixing metals a little bit these days to kind of bring a bit of a warmth touch
You know,
to the,
I know
to the car.
so many automakers using wood again to bring that, like you say, that warmth to the car.
Yeah.
Now, does it shut again when I press the button?
If you just tap it right there one time quickly.
Tap it
There you
right
go.
there. I must say, I like this clean look right here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really different. No one's done that, and
Yeah.
you know, this is why I'm not a designer. I would never think of that. I just think to put the door handle right here, and that would be that.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
These kinds of things, happy accidents, it kind of elongates the car a little bit
Yeah.
for us as well.
And I love this arch.
Thank you. Yeah.
And that,
Yeah, typically designers usually come up to the top of the A-pillar and then they kind of slope all the way back.
Yeah.
We wanted a little bit of room, a little bit of structure to the C-pillar there.
I mean, it looks like it's symmetrical. It's
yeah,
probably not,
maybe.
but I like the look of the curve
Yeah.
the way it goes.
Fun to
And
play
what
around
engine
with that.
powers this?
We've got our 5-liter Tau. It's about a 420 horsepower,
Okay.
380 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sort of fits the car nicely. It's a
Now, Hyundai does
car.
not make anything this big currently, correct?
no. They currently make a luxurious chairman's limousine.
I know that.
in Korea. Yeah,
I've heard of that one,
mostly
yeah,
known.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a car that truly looks like an American car.
Yeah?
I mean, it looks like it's designed in America to be an American-style car.
It's been a global effort, but
Yeah.
we did the heavy lifting in California,
Yeah.
and we really wanted a simple statement. Actually, we wanted to let the sheet metal sort of breathe, and not too many bone lines and light catchers everywhere, but just let the
And I
musculature.
don't see anything on here that couldn't be production, right?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think it'd work out quite nicely. We have a nice shoulder.
It
And,
looks like a nice car to wash. You know, when you wash a car, your
Yeah,
hands kind of
yeah.
run over there.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I like the way, I love this crease down here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nicely done.
yeah.
People have no idea how hard this is to do. Try designing a car, and I guarantee it'll look awful. You have to have, you know, I mean, just to think to put this crease in here instead of some big slab,
Yeah.
it really breaks it up nicely.
Yeah, the sculptors are really the guys behind the magic, really. So I really enjoy the relationship that we have with those guys, because they're the ones that interpret what we
Yeah.
draw on paper that seems unbuildable these days.
Is this a driving concept now?
It
or
is.
Oh,
It
it
is.
is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, what's the trick? To get some of the big execs to drive it around and see the reaction?
Well,
and
yeah,
everything?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's usually the show and tell.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Hyundai is at the place in the market now where they can compete with a car like this.
Well, you know, we've been on the map since 2008 here at Pebble, and
Yeah.
and I think back then it was like, whether you think you're crazy, you know, that you could be here, but
Yeah.
I think we've modestly sort of grown and evolved, and we're really happy to be here, you know, and showing this car.
Well, it's a nice job and beautiful, and wood.
Yeah,
I have not
it's
seen
walnut.
wood in a headrest.
It's walnut,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
dark walnut.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
And we have this sort of mesh up front in the grille that's
Look
sort
at
of
the
an
front end.
abstraction, yeah. So we've taken kind of an abstraction of our badge here
Right.
and kind of repeated it in these wing
Yeah.
shapes here, and it's sort of this chainmail, like knight armor
Gotcha.
sort of
Yeah.
abstraction there. And we have,
Bit of copper in here.
yeah, this bronzing effect is happening
Yeah.
elsewhere on the exterior as well. We've got a bit of nice warmth touch to the air curtain on the side of the car.
And the power bulge works too.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Chris, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Nice
Yeah.
piece of work.
Yeah, thank you
Nice
so much.
piece of work.
Appreciate it.
I got to check out these Hyundais. Maybe I'm missing something here. The man in the jaunty cap, you know Ed Welburn from General Motors, one of my favorite designers. I want to know when that Cadillac is coming out, but that's another whole deal. That was a very cool car.
I'd have to say which one.
Well, the
Because
what,
we,
El
I mean,
Mirage?
we
El
have
Mirage?
El Mirage, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we saw a couple of years ago. I love that one.
Right here at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what is this? This looks like a production car to me.
It's the Buick Avenir.
Okay.
It really is kind of a statement of design for Buick. And,
Right.
and to be honest, we look at this, and actually we've got a couple other cars we're looking at for production for Buick. That Buick studio is on fire.
Yeah, yeah.
The work they're doing.
And Buick is the nameplate, isn't it? Especially in China and around the world. Buick is big here, but it's really huge around the world.
Yeah,
isn't it?
we sell at least 3 times as many Buicks in China as we do here. as well as the brand is doing here, is doing even better there.
Now, I read it's because what, one of the Chinese leaders, his grandfather had a Buick or something? Is that a rumor?
The emperor used to ride in a Buick, and everyone close to him all drove Buicks. That's part of it. The other thing, just the whole design language of a Buick, just kind of connects with people in China in a big way.
Wow. Okay, so let's stand back and get a look at the car here and see what we got.
So, you know, everything, it's a very sculptural design, from the very bold front end and the very technical lamps it has, to the sweep spear, you know, which is very much a part of many great Buicks. Just a very sculptural statement.
You know what I like is that you guys show up with a 4-door. You show up with a real car. I mean, everybody brings 2 doors, you know, with low windshields and whatnot, because that's the cool thing. But this is actually what real people drive in the real world, and it's still got a lot of style, a lot of grace to it.
Well, it's the car that we believe in. That's why we did this 4-door with the great interior space, and even the slouch seats in the rear seat. It's just, I feel good.
Are those the biggest wheels ever put on a Buick?
21.
That's pretty close.
To date, yes.
To date, yeah, I would think so.
They are the largest.
Now, for a car like Buick, do 21s make production? Because 19s might give you a softer ride because you got more rubber.
Yeah.
But is 21s the future?
I would say for a car like this, probably 20s.
Yeah, 20s.
You know, we always, you know, it's almost like theater makeup. You got to, you know, enhance it a bit with the larger wheels for.
Again, this is my favorite part right here.
Yeah. And then you get around to the rear, and all comes to.
And the rear is really attractive.
Very boat.
But this I really like.
Yeah.
I like that taillight. Very nice.
Well, you know, there are elements of this design that you will see in every Buick going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, the shape of the lamp, the whole form vocabulary, the interior design theme comes right out of a production Buick that we're developing right now.
And of course, my favorite Buick thing, Ventaports.
Yeah.
Go back to, if you look at my 55 Buick, it's got the 4 holes. And that's one of those Buick statements that that works.
And there's another one. In fact, we had a photograph of your Buick on the wall in the studio as we developed the front end, the bar and the grill.
Oh yeah, look at that, look at that.
It came from that car, and it's really becoming part of the theme for all future Buicks.
This could be the great-grandchild of my Buick. Wow.
There's a story there.
There's a story there. Well, can we see the interior?
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a beautiful interior.
Very flowing interior. Yeah. This was really the collaboration between our Buick studio in Detroit and our advanced studio in Australia. And
I always like 4 separate seats. I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's just, there's something, I don't know, kind of special about having just 4 nice,
and always the 4 bucket seats. Yeah, because back in the 50s, the rear seat was always an afterthought, you know.
Yeah. Or it's a place for all the kids. You dumped all the kids.
But
this is for adults.
Yeah. Well, Ed, congratulations.
Thank you, Jay.
Looking good, looking good.
Yeah.
And I like the hat. I like the little crease at the top. It works.
That's why you
that little,
wanted me to keep the hat on,
that's
right?
Right. See, Ed's always got that little extra thing that makes the hat a little cooler. Just that little bend at the front. It goes from being a goofy hat to a really cool hat. So it works. No, I like the hat. It looks good.
Good, Jay. It's good seeing you.
Good seeing you. Thanks for showing us a car. This is my favorite concept car, because this is a car I've wanted Bentley to build for a long time. This is Sang-Up Lee. You're the exterior designer for Bentley?
Exactly.
And to me, I've got some old WO Bentleys. Yes. I love the modern Bentley. Don't really need 4-wheel drive. Whereas this is a rear-wheel drive car, and it's shorter and it's more sports car size, but with the Bentley luxury, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. So tell us what's different. What's the official model name of this car?
This car is called EXP10 Speed 6.
Speed 6,
yes.
Okay. Harking back to the old
Absolutely.
Speed 6 Bentley from the day.
It has the DNA of the Bentley boys back in 20s.
That's right.
That's definitely what it is. Yeah.
That's right. You don't really want the DNA of the Bentley boys, but you get the idea. Yeah.
We like parties.
Yeah. How many horsepower?
The powertrain is not something that we specify, because it's simply because it's a concept car.
Still a concept car. Yeah. But you know, I love the fact that when I was a kid, concept cars looked like something from the future that would never be produced. Glass bubble tops and huge fins. And now concept cars look and have to be real world driving automobiles. And I love the wheel, but how much shorter is the wheelbase than the standard Bentley?
It's actually about 100 millimeters shorter than Continental GT. So as you see the car is very compact and wheel-oriented, very popular because of that reason.
As the exterior designer, what is your favorite part of the car? The side, the front, the back? What is do you have a favorite?
It's a very difficult question. I love everything.
Yeah.
This is what sports car is about. When you look at the car, if you don't fall in love when you looked at it, the purpose of the sports car doesn't serve.
Well, let's start at the front end of the car.
That the whole thing is that we want to make a very, very contemporary statement, yet it's unmistakably Bentley. So it has a full round headlamp, mesh grille, everything, but we architecturally located very differently. For example, the headlamp, when you look at it from the straight view, is a perfect round, but there is so much form to it. So when you walk around, it gives a continuous movement in the footprint of the headlamp. So
I see. I think I like this part best. I like how it flows here.
You see the very strong muscle here, but yet treated in very delicate way. So I have to say this is very toned, nicely stretched muscle you see around the car.
And what size wheel am I looking at?
Those are 21s.
21s, okay. And I like the gap here. I like that it's tight. I hate when there's a big...
Absolutely.
Looks bad.
I mean, that is where the athletic stance proportion comes from for us.
Let's go to the rear of the car. And you've got actually quite a bit of trunk space, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
And we actually...
This opens.
Exactly, and we custom design all the luggage set and everything together. So this is the true pure two-seat sports car, yet it has to be a most luxurious sports car. So this is why all the trims and detail is very, very exquisite.
I like the line of the roof as well.
Yes.
This here. How many variations did you go through till you came up with this one?
Oh.
Many? Or do you get it right the first time?
So many.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. So when you're working on the concept car, you need to thinking about what is the message to the customer.
Right.
So in the beginning of the ideation, we really step far front as much as possible.
Right.
Then start analyzing our design to what makes Bentley move forward. So we are kind of like really filter well to make a statement afterwards.
Are these functional vents?
Exactly.
So they'll bring air out of the...
Absolutely.
Okay, very nice.
It's a performance car. It has to be functional. The shapes around it, we inspired by the wing shape, a fuselage. So you see quite a bit of the fuselage.
Nice job. I want to take a look at the interior. Where's our interior designer? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Brett Bordell. You're the interior designer of the car.
Correct.
Well, I have to compliment you because to me, Bentleys have the best interior of any car. I know there are cars more expensive and certainly cars cheaper, but for the price point that they are, I think it's as nice as any car. They always have that rich British sort of traditional feel. Let's take a look at the interior of this one. I'm a sucker for the quilted leather. The first time I saw it on the back of the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis in the 60s. Nicely done.
Yeah, this is really the whole interior concept was about taking the traditions of what we have best done and moving that forward in a more modern and fresh way, but still keeping hold of all the best aspects of our cars.
Yeah.
So we've kept the quilting but played with some of those ideas, especially into the doors here.
Well, the fascinating thing is nobody has done a luxury true sports car.
Sure.
Because everybody gets the car and then they order the lightweight Recaro seats and no soundproofing and you wind up with a noisy car.
Sure.
Here we have a true sports car because it's rear-wheel drive only.
Absolutely.
It's got this has the V8, not the V12, correct?
This would have the V8.
So it'd have that, which is a lot of people like better than the V12. Lighter, comparable power, certainly.
And perfect for this kind of car.
Yeah, and perfect for this kind of car. So, you know, on camera, this probably looks like an enormous car, but it's actually quite compact, considering, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's perfectly sufficient for the two seats. Yes, of course. Take a seat. You can see we've kept the luxury feel.
Yeah.
So we've kept everything that is important. So we've got this architecture which is dominated by these two wings which create this kind of cockpit, but it's all lightweight. So we've taken a more modern approach to the surfaces, created air that floats all the way through, right throughout the whole car. And here in the door you can see we've kind of taken our traditional materials and done a real twist. This is solid block cherry in the doors.
Oh, I see.
So we've kind of taken the quilting from the seats and done a modern twist on how we apply that to our materials.
I love the proper clock.
Absolutely right.
You know, I remember I used to work for Rolls-Royce when I was a kid.
Sure.
And one day Rolls-Royce came out with a digital clock. customers revolted. They hated it. I mean, and to me, nothing says quality like, you know, just like that concentric hands of a clock movie. And I remember the old Bentley used to have the round ball with the slots.
Correct.
For the air
bullseyes.
And this looks like copper. Is that a copper?
That's correct. We have copper that weaves its way all through the details of the car.
Wow.
And so it's an opportunity to try and get a combination of those rich materials, and just to show how we take that. The copper is a signifier of our hybrid nature.
I mean, this truly is the most beautiful interior the most beautiful and tasteful. Because I see some that just a little too much. Whereas this is just nicely done, beautiful stitching, beautiful leather. Even the standard Bentley has an interior that I think is a step above its class. It really is impressive. And this one, it's just nice to see a real sports car that, ow, my hair, this car's noisy. You're not going to get that in.
No,
it's
absolutely
really
not.
terrific.
We had to keep in the integrity of the Bentley interior.
And of course you have the dihedral type door that opens this way.
Yeah, we thought it would be fun for the show car to do something which kind of gave some extra
How do we get them to
pizzazz.
produce this car?
Well, the customer demand has been significant. We produced this purely as a concept, but it was an opportunity to show the future styling, and people have responded in such a way that we're now heavily considering producing this car.
Go to our comment section and tell us what you think of this car. I think it's the greatest Bentley ever built. I think it's fantastic. It's true to the spirit of WO, rear-wheel drive, because he didn't believe in, you know, he would just make a bigger engine and get a bigger, more reliable power, and that's what he liked.
Precisely.
And a big, fast, luxury car with two-wheel drive. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Very
Thank
cool.
you.
This is David Woodhouse. He's the design director for the Lincoln Motor Company, and the car behind us is one of his designs. Now, I hesitate to call this a concept car because this probably is going to reach production at almost exactly as it sits. Is that correct?
Jay, this is the show car version, but we're bringing this car out next year.
Okay, and what will it be called?
Be the Continental.
Oh, will be the Continental.
So 75 years of Continental this year, so really important that we're reintroducing.
Now, originally, was Continental a separate brand, or was it always Lincoln Continental?
It varied between being in Lincoln and out of Lincoln as a separate division, as you know.
Now, will this be a separate division, or will it be a Lincoln Continental?
It's Lincoln Continental.
Oh, okay, very good. All right. Well, let's take us around the car here. Let's see. Nicely done. The front end, I guess, is the most distinctive. That's sort of that's a new look for Lincoln, isn't it?
It is. So this is the new face of Lincoln. So the grille, the signature of the grille, is very distinct. So that's going to migrate to all the other products in our range.
You know, you're probably the only people using chrome in the front end anymore. Is that going to make production, you think?
Well, you know, we use chrome to exaggerate length and line on the show cars, so we've got a few things that would be on the production car, but maybe not quite as you see it here.
Okay. Yeah. And is that a 21-inch wheel?
21. You guessed correctly. Yeah.
Will that be standard?
There'll be a 20.
Yeah. Because I know 19 gives you the most supple ride because you got a bit more rubber, and 21 is best for high-speed sport work, so maybe 20 is the way to go, isn't it?
20 would be pretty good. Yeah.
But it will be that wheel, that
design.
That designer wheel. Okay. Okay, take us through the car a bit more. Let's see. Let's do the outside of the car first.
So, I mean, firstly, the blue color, I think, is a signature of Lincoln. Jay, going back to the classic car, so really a default color for us.
And it says Continental here?
Yep, Continental script.
Right.
You say the chrome and the blue, these lovely long lines along the side of the car. It's really drawing the eye out as long and as low as it can be.
And here's something I like. This is unique and different. The fact and you're right here.
So it's a little, we call it E-latch. So it's a little switch that you touch on these little wing-like features.
I like the fact that these are aerodynamic, so they don't
integrated into the belt line.
Sometimes I get annoyed. I have to wait for the handle to come out and then open the door. So here you're right here.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Before we do the interior of the car, let's do the whole exterior of the car, and then we'll show you the interior, which is really even more impressive, I think. Let's go around the back of the car. And of course, Lincoln and then Continental. It's Lincoln here and it's Continental on the side.
So you see the lighting through chrome, Jay? So it actually functions through chrome. So we try to repeat this horizontal element at the base of the backlight, the lighting element, and then again the quad pipes integrated into the chrome apron.
I think Matthew McConaughey will look great behind the wheel of this thing.
I think he will as well.
Let's take a look at the inside. Wow.
So I think the big thing, Jay, is the materials. Like really sumptuous.
Yeah.
So we had this idea of layering the softness. So under your feet, it's the softest it can be. The lamb's wool shearing carpeting, and then around you, it's very sort of experiential, like the Alcantara.
And I like the liberal use of chrome. You know, I used to love some of the Chrysler concept cars from the 60s. Got a lot of chrome inside, a lot of shininess that kind of made you smile. And I love all of that. It's beautifully
There's an exuberance to it, right?
Yeah. But something that's really cool is this feature here. Let's show people what we have. And the door opens 90 degrees.
90 degrees.
If my mother was still alive, she would love that. That was all these cars, you get these stupid cars you can't get in and out of. This is fantastic. Now that's really interesting. You see what you have here? But let's show the way it works. It's actually a travel release, and whatever you have in here.
Yep.
And it
personal items.
Is it a magnet? Is that what it is?
Well, they're magnets that hold it on the seat back.
Right.
So it just clicks in those little lugs.
Just clicks in there.
And then you'll see it just holds it in place.
And a true four-seater. I love that the console comes all the way to the back.
Yeah.
And they have their own what controls the air conditioning and whatnot?
You've got this kind of bridge where you can put storage underneath, and then the center console, you press a button and it deploys a lap table. So
I see.
It's really magical, very James Bond how it deploys.
Because normally the lap table would come from here, from the back of the seat.
Yeah.
And that comes up from the side.
Yeah. And then we've got these little things, armrests on detents.
Oh, look at that, very clever.
And there's containers and drinks.
Yeah. Well, very clever.
Beautiful materials, right? Really sumptuous.
It's beautiful materials and just a lot of clever thinking. I like the door handles. I like that. It's fun to see things I haven't seen before. You know? I remember the old Chargers from the early 60s used to have the 4 separate seats, but bringing it all the way to the back, bringing the console all the way, really is nice. It makes a nice.
And then these recline as well. So
they do.
The passenger seat actually moves out of the way, and the back seat can recline just on that one side. Yeah.
So this will be the top of the line model, won't it?
Well, Continental's always been the flagship for Lincoln, like Navigator for the SUVs, but for the sedans, Continental's always been. So to bring the name back, we think this is really special for Lincoln.
Well, David, nicely done.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks so much for taking the time to show us the car. Very cool. I like that rear thing with this little suitcase. This is Shiro Nakamura. Here is the Chief Creative Officer. Chief Creative Officer for Infinity. And when I was in Japan, he was such a wonderful host. He took us through the design studio, and I saw some cars I've never seen here, and I want you to bring some of the, because it's top secret, but wonderful things. And this is your latest creation?
Yes, this is Infinity Q60.
Q60, okay.
Our new sports coupe.
Right.
So it's going to be produced very soon.
Okay, so this is not necessarily a concept car. This is a finished car.
Right. Almost.
Just little things.
Yeah, you will see on the road very soon.
Yeah. So take us through. Oh, chrome mirrors. I haven't seen those in a while.
Probably this is we are putting a little bit more money on the for show car.
Yeah.
Production is a little bit more subtle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's start at the front of the car.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So this is our very
distinctive
distinctive face.
Yeah.
We call double arch grille.
Right. And I love this.
Yeah. Lamp signature.
Yeah.
It's almost like eyeball.
Yeah. I know, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And of course the big.
Big logos, Infinity logos. Yeah.
I like
the sculpture shape.
The sculpture shape.
Yeah.
The crease.
Yeah.
And these wheels are very nice too. Are these?
The black painted.
20s?
Yeah. 20.
20 inch. So this is So this is the car we're going to see on the road.
Yes, quite soon.
Quite soon.
Yeah, you can see the very nice sharp edge and the very sculpture shape.
Now, does this reflect off the sun? Does it change color in the?
Well, it is normal sunroof.
Okay. Yeah.
We want to be a little bit.
Oh, it opens. It opens as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's certainly got to be one of the biggest production sunroofs available.
Yeah. So shall we open the door?
Yes. Go ahead.
So interior is basically our very Q50.
Can I sit?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I like the
twin screens.
Right.
Yeah, navigation, the touch screen. It's very new. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. And a lot of carbon fiber now.
Yeah, that to be a very sporty version. Of course, we have a nice wood.
Wood too,
What do you like?
He did a car with the most beautiful wood interior I've ever seen.
In Japan.
It was just beautiful. I love the quilted leather here.
This is very nice and
I remember back in the 60s, the early Italian cars used to have this in the back shelf. I used to think it was the sexiest thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's coming back.
And beautiful paint too.
Yeah, this is special 3-coat paint.
Yeah, yeah. Again, so this is not necessarily a concept car. This
Yeah,
is
it's
a production
coming
car.
very close to production.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Well, congratulations.
The Q60, we call it Q60.
Very nice,
Yeah.
very nice.
Thank you.
And tell me about I love the wheels.
Yeah.
I love the black.
Yeah, black with a chrome insert.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a big disc wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, brake disc.
Let's look at the back of the car.
Yeah. Yeah, back is also, do you remember the Essence concept?
Yes.
Essence, yeah. This
Yeah.
is sort of, we made it more realistic as a production.
Yeah, yeah.
But basically same design
Again,
theme.
this, I like how it goes into the trunk.
Yeah, and overall design theme with the window graphics and the body.
I love how it's perfect.
Yes.
Not just not one, you know.
Has to be.
Yeah, has to be perfect.
Yeah.
I know. Well, beautiful job.
Thank you very much.
Are you still playing music?
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
like this.
Oh yeah, he's a good musician. You gotta go to one of his concerts.
Yes.
He's very
Next time,
good.
please come to my
yeah,
concert.
I will come to your concert.
All
Thank
right,
you
thank
so
you,
much.
Jay.
Thanks for showing us the
Okay.
car.